I want to talk about the armor of God that Paul talks about in Ephesians 6, because he didn't just bring it up from thin air. It came from Isaiah, and I want to show you that. And I'm reading from the Complete Jewish Bible for the Ephesians passage, and then I'll read from the New American Standard for the Isaiah passages, just to make it faster. You can look up the Complete Jewish Bible online if you need to. Starting in verse 10, it says, "Finally, grow powerful in unity with the Lord, in union with His mighty strength. Use all the armor and weaponry that God provides, so that you will be able to stand against the deceptive tactics of the adversary. For we are not struggling against human beings, but against rulers, authorities, and cosmic powers governing this darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. So take up every piece of war equipment God provides, so that when the evil day comes, you will be able to resist. When the battle is won, you will still be standing." Okay, that's up to verse 13, through verse 13, and the armor starts in verse 14. But I wanted to mention here, he's talking about war equipment. Well, you don't need armor if you're not in the war. But we are in a war. We war the spirit against the flesh, and just as Hasatan, Satan, planted, if you read the parable of the wheat and the tares, Satan plants the tares in the field, which was a violation of Torah. Mingling two seeds together was a violation of Torah. Just as an aside. But basically, that's why the armor is so important, is to protect from becoming a terror and from becoming one of Hasatan's victims. Hasatan meaning the adversary. Ha is the, and Satan is, or Satan is adversary. So, the adversary. Okay, so verse 14. Therefore stand, have the belt of truth buckled around your waist, put on righteousness for a breastplate, and wear on your feet the readiness that comes from the good news of shalom, or gospel, basically gospel of peace, which you see in a lot of translations, I think. Always carry the shield of trust, which most people know as shield of faith, which you will be able to extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. And take the helmet of deliverance along with the sword given by the Spirit, that is the Word of God. And we see in Yeshua, or Jesus' tempting, he constantly comes back with the Word of God. When Satan says, make this rock bread, he says, man shall not live on bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Elohim. And when he's tempted about being on the pinnacle of the temple, he says, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test. Because Satan tried to twist one of the scriptures that says, the angels have charge of you. And Yeshua countered that. And then the last one was give all the world to him if he would fall down and worship. That Hasatan would give him the whole world if Yeshua would fall down and worship him. And he says, "Begone, Satan, for it is written, you shall love the Lord your God and worship him only." So that's how he used that you want to read that story to see how the sword of the Spirit was used. That's how he used it. That's how Yeshua used it. Just a quick example. And then always carry the shield of trust. Trust is faith. As we grow in Him, as we live a Torah lifestyle, our faith, our trust grows. And that's what we have to do. Of the evil. Okay, then verse 17. Take the helmet of deliverance along with the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Okay, I read that. And as you pray at all times with all kinds of prayers and requests in the Spirit, vigilantly, persistently for all God's people. Pray for me too, and he talks about Paul. And he talks about being an ambassador, which we are ambassadors as well. Where he says in verse 20, he says, for which I am an ambassador in chains. He's talking about the gospel. Being an ambassador of the gospel. Pray that I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. But the way I should. Okay, so, the belt of truth. You see in Isaiah 11:5, where we read, also righteousness will be the belt about his loins, and faithfulness a belt about his waist. So you see it there in Isaiah 11:5 as the belt. Then we go to Isaiah 59 for the breastplate and the helmet. We go into Isaiah 59 verse 17, where it says, put on righteousness like a breastplate, and a helmet of salvation on his head. And he put on garments of vengeance for clothing, and wrapped himself with the zeal as a mantle. So then we'll go to Isaiah 52, verse 7. Isaiah 52:7 says, how lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news. What good news is the gospel. Who announces peace, or shalom. Peace is shalom. And brings good news of happiness. Who announces salvation and says to Zion, your God it reigns. So there we have the gospel, the preparation of the gospel. These things didn't just come to pass, but all this stuff is about Torah. The helmet of salvation, knowing you're saved, having confidence in your salvation in Yeshua. And as it says in Hebrews 5:9, that he is salvation to those who obey. If he is our king, we will obey him. So, we have that as we follow, and it changes our mind and how we live, and our salvation is shown in that, and our lamp shines as we obey Torah. The lamp that we are to be in this world is through obeying Torah. That's how we shine, is through obeying Torah. That's how we, just like Yeshua said, he says, don't practice your righteousness before men, but he also said, shine in such a way that men will see your good deeds and glorify Elohim. So, by obeying Torah, we abide with Elohim, and that's how we also apply armor of God, the belt of truth. Well, what is truth? The Word of God. Because John 17:17 talks about, sanctify them by your truth. Thy word is truth. Righteousness is a breastplate. Why is that? The Torah is written upon our heart. The feet shod with the preparation of the gospel, the good news of peace. What is the gospel? That Yeshua came. And it prepares our walk. The shield of faith that we have a shield of faith. As we read, pray, and obey, we learn to trust more. Our faith grows, our trust grows. A helmet of deliverance, the helmet of salvation, knowing that we are saved and living accordingly. And then, of course, I covered the sword of the Spirit. And also, one of the things that the belt of truth, or the belt of Torah, does is it keeps the garment close to you, so it doesn't, like if you're wearing a tunic like I am at the moment, a belt holds it to where it can't get caught on stuff. And that's what the Torah does, it leads us, keeps us away from getting caught into all this false doctrine. It becomes the anchor in the storm. When hostility tries to deceive us, that the Torah becomes our anchor, and that's how we resist him. Shalom, shalom, and may Yahweh bless and keep you and make his face shine upon you and give you peace.